NVIDIA shares, meanwhile, under pressure as Jensen Huang is delivering his keynote at the GTC conference in San Jose. Joining us now is our own Christina Partsinevelos, live from the GTC event. She's got more details. And also with us is Daniel Newman, Futurum Group CEO. Christina, let me start with you because I saw you earlier in the day out there with Jensen himself. He was handing out hot dogs. You were trying to get him to talk. Did he give you anything in terms of what to expect here? What's he actually saying?
He was handing out some sausages with his pancakes, and it was the full stack, as they like to joke around here, a technical term. But yeah, I get it, because yeah, okay. But what he did say is that there's going to be a lot of surprises that Wall Street wasn't expecting. And to be frank, so I've been listening to the speech for the last hour, and if you don't follow this company closely, it is very technical, a little bit more difficult to understand for somebody that's just, maybe trading in and out of this name. Jensen Huang, the CEO, did say that he is, doing this entire speech unscripted, no prompter. One of the pieces of news that he just came out with is saying that they are creating an autonomous vehicle with GM. So and I quote, he said the time for autonomous vehicles has arrived. And so that's why you're seeing Mobileye. Their stock is actually dropping on that news. Mobileye, Intel has a big stake in Mobileye. Mobileye makes a lot of the autonomous design automation systems in the cars. And so that's why you're seeing a negative reaction, because they've just announced a partnership with GM.
Yeah,
so that's a bit of news right now. Yeah,
I wonder what that means for Tesla as well. We were just talking about Tesla in the last segment. Daniel, give us your sense. I mean, Christina's describing a technical insider type of speech here. Is that what the market wanted to hear today?
The market was going to look for some reassurance that the NVIDIA trade, the AI trade, expanded upon beyond the data center. So over the last couple of years, it's been all up and to the right. Even though the stock has sort of moved sideways for a little while, NVIDIA had clear momentum, clear market share for the data center. But over the last couple of keynotes, you've heard Jensen pivot his posture. We're seeing over the last few days, AWS, Google, and others talking about their own AI chip ambitions. We've seen OpenAI do the same, as well as Meta. Jensen needed this keynote to come out and talk about automotive. It needed to talk about physical AI. And he also had a big part where he talked about partnerships with companies like Cisco and expanding into the enterprise. Because right now, they have the data center market, it's growing, and they certainly have a big position there. But I think that's going to change with these new XPUs. And he needed to show investors and customers that their technology is sticky and they're going to continue to lead the market.
So you say they need to expand beyond the data center. Christina just told us they're expanding into the automobile with the GM deal that they just announced. Is that enough of a hook, Daniel, for investors?
Well, they've been in automotive for a while, and then they started to cede market share to companies like Qualcomm. But over the last couple of keynotes, especially at CES and now here at GTC, we're seeing Jensen shape his story a little bit differently. And here's the important thing for investors is while we're in this kind of, panic inflection moment with tariffs and everything else, is the AI trade is rock solid. This $1 trillion of market of expanded CapEx spend, and it could be all AI chips. This is a massive opportunity. And even if NVIDIA cedes a little bit of share in both data center and beyond, it has a big opportunity. My take is it's cars, it's humanoid robots, it's edge, and it's enterprises. Jensen has been clear that that is there to be taken. The question is whether investors are buying it. I'm still looking for those proof points to show in the revenue, but right now it's looking good that he's getting that story out there.
Huang unveiled the Vera Rubin GPU, which has greater memory and bandwidth and doubles the performance of its Grace processors. The second half of next year is when Rubin is anticipated. According to Huang, the next Rubin Ultra is scheduled for release in the second half of 2027. Blackwell Ultra NVL72 will be available in the second half of the year, according to Huang. Blackwell is in full production, Huang stated earlier in his talk. Blackwell Ultra boasts 1.5 times higher bandwidth and memory. Huang revealed NVIDIA Dynamo, which is essentially the AI factory's operating system for AI agents of the future. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, will be the center of attention today as he discusses the company's upcoming AI chips. Huang stated in February that he would speak at the annual GPU Technology Conference, or GTC, about the chipmaker's Blackwell Ultra AI chip, next-generation Vera Rubin platform, and future product plans. The company has some really exciting things to share at the developer conference about robotics, reasoning models, and enterprise and agentic AI, Huang said. Huang stated during the company's fiscal fourth quarter earnings call that the chipmaker had successfully ramped up large-scale production of its much-anticipated Blackwell AI platform, which it had debuted at last year's GTC and generated billions of dollars in sales in its first quarter. In a report released last week, analysts at Bank of America stated that they anticipate NVIDIA to deliver appealing but anticipated enhancements to Blackwell Ultra, with an emphasis on inferencing for reasoning models, something that Google and OpenAI are vying to build. More details regarding NVIDIA's next-generation networking technology and the chipmaker's prospects in autonomous vehicles, physical artificial intelligence, AI applications like robotics, and quantum computing are also anticipated by the analysts. NVIDIA is expected to discuss its Project Digit's personal AI supercomputer in further detail at the GTC, according to Kevin Cook, senior stock strategist at Zacks Investment Research. According to Cook, I've been preaching for years that NVIDIA GPU systems are superior than the iPhone cycle. In other words, businesses will pay for Jensen's newest, better, and fastest products, but they can also continue to use their outdated hardware because CUDA software integrates and updates it. Cook stated that he believes Digits would enable smaller developers to create their own agentic AI applications and physical AI models. So, what implications does this have for NVIDIA's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on NVIDIA stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now let's get back to the video.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang takes the stage today for the company's annual GTC conference. Our very own Dan Howley is on the ground in San Jose, California, and he tells us the latest that we should be expecting out of this. Dan, bright and early for you. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Yeah, bright, not so much. Still dark outside here. But the big thing that we can expect out of this event really is more news on what NVIDIA has cooking up with its next generation chips. Now, there's reports that, and honestly, previous inklings from NVIDIA itself that we'll see their next generation Blackwell Ultra chip. Now, that would be the successor to Blackwell, which is the current lead chip that NVIDIA has. And then also, we're hearing that we could see more of what they call Vera Rubin. And so Jensen Huang had shown off previously a roadmap of where NVIDIA's chips are going. And that would be the next level of the chip, an all-new platform from what they have as Blackwell now to Rubin. Vera would be the successor to their Grace CPU. And these are all things that NVIDIA has previously kind of shown off, as I said it, at other conferences, kind of showing what their roadmap will be moving forward. Now, in addition to that, they're going to have their very first quantum day. This is going to be focused on quantum computing. Jensen Huang had kind of raised eyebrows when he said that a practical quantum computer is still, decades away. Some in the quantum computing community said, no, it'll be, 5 to 10 years. Sundar Pichai had said something along those lines. I've spoken to experts in the area, and they've said, nobody really knows. It's basically up in the air at this point still. Quantum computing is still kind of being researched, not necessarily something that's going to be practical in the very near future. But again, there's just predictions, and that's all they are at this point. And then finally, we expect NVIDIA to reference DeepSeek. Now, DeepSeek obviously kind of raised fears on Wall Street that AI companies were overspending when they said that they only spent a few $1 million to build out their DeepSeek AI models versus the hundreds of millions that Silicon Valley companies have spent. There's been kind of controversy around whether or not that's accurate, whether that it was more than a few $1 million because this was kind of distilled from other models. But the reality is NVIDIA has been pushing this idea that these are reasoning models, thinking models, similar to OpenAI's O1 or Google's Gemini Flash thinking, and that when they are doing this thinking or reasoning, they require a lot more horsepower than you would otherwise have with other models, more basic predictive models. And so that would benefit NVIDIA because it would mean that more companies would have to spend more on AI chips to power those models. And so that's going to be something that you would expect NVIDIA to kind of hammer home at GTC. And then I'm sure you can expect plenty more software updates that NVIDIA usually rolls out. This is going to be a big showcase. If you watch their CES keynote or their keynote last year at GTC, you know that they're chock full of information, and you can expect Jensen Huang to dial in on all of those.
Yeah, it couldn't come at a more important time. We saw 90% of the market recovering yesterday. The names that didn't recover, all of them big tech. Dan, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, stated on Tuesday that the company was in a good position to handle a change in the artificial intelligence sector, where companies are shifting from using AI models to train them to receiving precise responses from them. At the company's annual software developer conference in San Jose, California, Huang defended the company's market dominance in selling clients expensive AI chips. Investors have recently questioned this strategy after China's DeepSeek created a competing chatbot that reportedly uses fewer AI processors. Huang, wearing his typical black leather jacket and pants, stated on stage at the conference that almost the entire world got it wrong. He dubbed the gathering the AI Super Bowl. The amount of computation we need as a result of agentic AI, as a result of reasoning, is easily 100 times more than we thought we needed this time last year, he said, referring to autonomous AI agents that require little human intervention for regular tasks. However, investors were not reassured by his presentation, which positioned the company's current chips as being well suited for changes sweeping the AI sector. NVIDIA stock dropped 2.5% as AI markets move from training AI models, like chatbots, on massive amounts of data to make them intelligent, to inference, the process by which the model uses its knowledge to generate responses for users. NVIDIA's enormous money-making chips are under threat from technical progress. Huang revealed new chips, such as the Blackwell Ultra, its upcoming GPU processor, which would go on sale in the second half of this year. According to him, NVIDIA's chips serve two primary functions. They enable AI systems to react intelligently to a large number of users, while also providing those responses as quickly as feasible. Huang maintained that the only processors capable of doing both are those made by NVIDIA. The customer will not return if you take too long to respond to their question. He compared this to an online search. He introduced Dynamo, a new piece of software designed to speed up reasoning that NVIDIA made available for free. Huang also revealed that NVIDIA has been chosen by General Motors to develop its fleet of self-driving cars. Over the last 3 years, the value of NVIDIA's stock has more than doubled as the business has fueled the development of cutting-edge AI systems like ChatGPT, Claude, and numerous others. The Santa Clara, California-based company spent 10 years developing software tools to attract AI researchers and developers, which contributed significantly to its success. However, the majority of NVIDIA's $130.5 billion in sales last year came from its data center chips, which cost tens of thousands of dollars each. Last year, Huang made a suggestion that the new main product would be called Rubin and would include a line of chips, comprising networking chips, a central processing unit, and a graphics processing unit, all made to function in massive data centers that train artificial intelligence algorithms. According to analysts, the chips will begin production this year and begin to be widely available in large quantities the next year. NVIDIA is attempting to start a new trend of releasing a flagship chip year, but it has encountered both internal and external challenges thus far. Blackwell, the company's current flagship chip, is taking longer than anticipated to reach the market due to production issues brought on by a design defect. The previous approaches of feeding growing data repositories into ever bigger data centers loaded with NVIDIA chips have begun to show diminishing results, and the greater AI sector struggled with delays last year. To stay informed about the latest developments from NVIDIA and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts, so hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on NVIDIA stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now let's dive into today's video.
Starts ahead of NVIDIA's keynote speech by Jensen Huang tonight. I'm finding it hard to get amped up about this, Jenny, because NVIDIA's down $3.50.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. The optimism has faded since I've been on this show 90 minutes ago.
Price is king, you know.
I know. This is exactly what we see historically. I mean, GTC is not this market-moving event. It's not this AI-driven focus. I feel like it's a lot more on like the hardware, the new tech side of things. And that doesn't mean there's not a place for like momentum to shift. Obviously, as we know, NVIDIA can shift on the session. But I'm with you here. I don't necessarily see. I think the keynote. I said this earlier. I think the keynote's huge. I think that Jensen Huang's narrative around the future of this company and the handling of supply chain, the handling of the recent, right now, I'd say, costs related to their build are huge. I also think an update on Rubin and some of the Blackwell promises of the next couple of years is huge.
I just want to hear him say that DeepSeek models still need our chips, even if they need fewer than the other models. He says that, and I think NVIDIA rallies.
Yes, I guess he needs to talk about that exact type of thing. The ways in which NVIDIA, the reason that we rallied in the first place. I mean, like years ago, we saw this name as a leader in GTCs, and there's a reason why. I think that the more he can tout on the advancements they've made and why so many companies shell out, premiums for their chips, I think you need to talk about that. You need to talk about the way in which you have this competitive moat still, which I stand by. I think NVIDIA frankly does. I will say that the company will, I think, be focused on much of the accelerated demand robotics, but also, again, what they already know from their biggest clients and the timing of that Rubin, which is their next generation processor architecture. I also do think that right now, their earnings, which were published, of course, late in February, showed a company that is doing absolutely fine as far as top and bottom line expansion. So I don't think from a financial standpoint that there's anything to be concerned about, but it's efficiencies that he needs to mention and the ways in which they're controlling costs and operating, hopefully, in a cost-accretive environment. So a lot is riding on this event. I have to say that there's expectations across the board, but if you're a tech geek, I said this earlier, you got to get on Reddit because there's the best threads about GTC on Reddit. I can't stop reading them, frankly.
That's confirming it's a giant nerd fest.
Exactly.
Mr. Ducat, chart, hit me.
It seems like it's a stock that's in need of a catalyst, a push or something, because we've been trending sideways for quite a while here. We do have some gains over the past 52 weeks, but if you really look back here, we had this earnings event where we spiked up here, and really not that much progress from that point. So in the shorter term, the breakdown has been more toward the downside. You can see we have this longer term blue trend line connecting our lows here and here. We broke down through it recently after a bit of triangular consolidation, a symmetrical triangle type shape, narrowing of volatility, and you're looking for a breakout in either direction. In this case, it did play out to the downside. One notable aspect of this downside move for the bulls is that we had this gap level back here. That was a low point at our light green line near about 101.50, save for the anomalous date of August 5th. We mostly held on to that area, and we did not even test it during our recent decline. Now we're breaking through our downward sloping trend line. We retested our old boundary, and it looks like we're holding support at our purple 252-day exponential moving average. So kind of an interesting setup here that we had the downside breakout, but we seem to have recovered, and we're hanging on to these longer-term sources of support. So if we were to quickly look at our volume profile study, you can see the volume is right around where we are now, 120, lining up with that yellow 21-day EMA. So a key area for us to work through, either to the upside or the downside.
All right, so this is a big spot here for sure, and I think that's totally in line with the way I've looked at the chart. It's always 120 and 140 in my mind, those big volume nodes, and so it seems to have continued to kind of self-fulfill that prophecy of that level being important because it just keeps coming back to it. So we're above it, we're feeling good. We're below it, we're feeling not good. I do think it's kind of that binary for NVIDIA. If it breaks down, Rick, we've got still a decent amount of support because the low for NVIDIA was closer to what, like 103, 104?
So that's a question that I could answer a couple different ways. Okay. For one, this area right here in general, that's our light green line. That's our old longer-term supportive line near 101. Above that a little bit, we have another volume node, and we have our orange 63-day, our -2 standard deviation channel here, and that comes in just above that level near like 105 or so. So there is volume. There is a indicator telling us it's a relatively extreme point. And we do have our extreme price lows. That doesn't mean it will hold, though. You know what I mean? Like, it just means this is a very important area. If it were to break downward, the point of control is right here, near about 90 or so.
If NVIDIA goes sub 100, you've got a big event in the market. If NVIDIA gets to that next big volume node at $90, then we are in a new territory here because that would mean lower lows on a long-term basis stretching back to the summer. And that's obviously not where we're at right now. We still are in not an uptrend necessarily. I mean, would you describe it that way? I mean, obviously it depends on where you put your timeline, but if you stretch it back far enough, it still is a chart of higher lows for the most part.
For sure, and here's our 5-year chart. We have, and I guess you could say, Here, this would be the prevailing trend line that I would see that we have broken down through. We still haven't made lower lows, though.
Right.
So, the trend is still up. We did bounce off of our 5-year linear regression line as well, that idea of fair value here. So, we haven't had the breakdown. It's more like the trend is shifting from uptrend to sideways, I guess I would say, is what it looks like now.
The problem, last point, if we go back to the other chart, zoom in again, last point that's the problem is that it looks like that 120 is that big volume area. I guess it's not quite resistance the way you've got it drawn. It's more just a lot.
In an effort to solidify its position at the forefront of the artificial intelligence revolution, NVIDIA unveiled plans for more potent chips, a robotics AI model, and personal AI supercomputers that will enable developers to work on desktop computers. During the company's annual GTC event in San Jose, California, CEO Jensen Huang introduced Isaac GR00T N1, a platform that would accelerate the development of humanoid robots. The project is being developed by NVIDIA in collaboration with Google's DeepMind and Walt Disney Co., and will be accessible to outside developers. The new personal supercomputer systems will be produced by Dell Technologies Inc., HP Inc., and other manufacturers in the interim. Additionally, Huang unveiled the Blackwell Ultra, NVIDIA's AI processor replacement. In the later part of 2026, a more significant upgrade known as Vera Rubin will replace that chip line, which is scheduled for release in the second half of 2025. After NVIDIA assumed a pivotal role in AI, the GTC conference, once a little-known assembly of developers, became a highly anticipated event, with Wall Street and the tech industry taking their cues from the presentation. Huang stated in the address that NVIDIA and General Motors Company were collaborating to apply AI to robots, factories, and next-generation automobiles. Additionally, he announced a different wireless project that involved Cisco Systems Inc. and T-Mobile US Inc. NVIDIA will contribute to the development of AI-native wireless network gear for the upcoming 6G networks, which will replace the current 5G networks. This is a crucial time for NVIDIA. Investors in 2025 are starting to wonder if the craze is sustainable after 2 years of stratospheric growth in both revenue and market value. When the Chinese startup DeepSeek announced earlier this year that it had created a competitive AI model with a fraction of the resources, these worries were highlighted. The assertion made by DeepSeek raised questions about whether the rate of investment in AI computing infrastructure was justified. However, it was followed by pledges to continue investing this year from NVIDIA's largest clients, which include Microsoft Corp. and Amazon.com Inc. is AWS. According to a Bloomberg Intelligence analysis released Monday, the largest data center operators, referred to as hyperscalers, are expected to spend $371 billion on AI infrastructure and computing resources in 2025, a 44% increase from the previous year. By 2032, that sum is predicted to reach $525 billion, expanding at a quicker rate than analysts had anticipated prior to DeepSeek's viral success. However, NVIDIA's stock has been negatively impacted by larger worries about trade conflicts and a potential recession, as evidenced by its 14% decline this year. In Tuesday's New York trade, the shares dropped 2.9% to $116.02. The GM news affected shares of Mobileye Global Inc., which produces self-driving technology. The stock dropped to $13.96, a 6.7% decline. In 2022, the business, which is mostly controlled by Intel Corp., became public. The week-long GTC event is an opportunity to persuade the tech sector that NVIDIA's chips remain essential for artificial intelligence, AI, a field Huang anticipates expanding to a larger portion of the economy in what he has dubbed a new industrial revolution. The event has been dubbed the Super Bowl of AI, Huang said. In a note announcing the event, Chris Casso, an analyst at Wolfe Research, stated that the primary concern for NVIDIA is whether AI capital expenditures would keep increasing in 2026. Fears of a recession have caused AI stocks to plummet, and we believe that cloud users would prefer not to cut their budgets for AI spending. Capital expenditures may be under strain if the sectors that finance those budgets suffer. Huang didn't appear to allay investors' worries on that issue. However, he presented a roadmap for next chips and introduced a novel technology that uses light waves and photonics, a blend of silicon and photonics. While it strives to quickly update its processors, NVIDIA has encountered certain production issues. The release of Blackwell was delayed because several early versions needed to be fixed. Although NVIDIA claims to have overcome those obstacles, the company still lacks sufficient supply to satisfy demand. In order to push more chips out the door, it has raised spending, which will have an impact on margins this year. Huang noted that last year, 1.3 million of NVIDIA's older generation Hopper AI chips were purchased by the top 4 public cloud providers: Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet Inc.'s Google, and Oracle Corp. According to him, the same group has purchased 3.6 million Blackwell AI chips so far in 2025. NVIDIA intends to offer Rubin Ultra a year later, following Vera Rubin's release in the second part of next year. The American astronomer who bears Vera Rubin's name is recognized for having contributed to the discovery of dark matter. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.